Hey there, happy Wednesday, everybody. My name is Joe. Welcome back to the stream. So, happy Veterans Day also if you are in America. If you are a veteran, thank you for your service. So, today, what I'm doing is just continuing on from the work that we did yesterday, but I want to show you some stuff I did from last night. So, one thing I did was I kind of cleaned up the view a little bit more from where I even was yesterday. So here, let's go log into this. If I remember my password, I think that's it. Let's see. That is not my password. Okay, so what the heck's my password? Oh, I think I had .com in there. I think that's it. Don't save. Yes. Okay, cool. So as you can see here, this looks a little bit better from the view that we had yesterday. I just wanted to kind of clean things up just a little bit. I made this responsive also, so that way it kind of works. I think, yeah, okay, good, I did. Again, you can see it's very gray. That's really kind of the only thing I'm doing here. I just want it to look a little, just again, kind of give it some little thing, but nothing super crazy major here. Just a little bit. Just basically that way it's organized a little bit, and it kind of like everything does not. I don't want to just like dump crap onto the screen. So where I did this and how I did this, just so you can see, is I have this this is the toast at the top of the page. This is the page. So the way the templates work is you kind of have this layout component, and you inside of your page. So let's go to the dashboard. My cat doesn't want me going to the dashboard apparently. All right, so this is the dashboard page, and basically you have a layout that you import into the layout, and that's what everything gets wrapped up in. And then I'm just creating different like page templates that I'm calling that I can kind of just inject the content into whenever I create it or whenever I add it. So in this case here, the template that this is called the admin page, and I'm passing in this navigation for the dashboard, and I have these two slots. So the two slots are, one's for the header title, and the other is for like the body of the page, and that's it. Nothing super fancy goes into here, but it all kind of just works. The template itself is just kind of that grid template that I had the other day that I was playing around with. And let's go into admin real quick. I think I have admin. So I have, obviously it just kind of has a couple more components inside of here, just the sidebar and the secondary navigation template. Here's your logo, here's your title area, this is where the slot comes in. This would just be whatever logo you wanted for your thing. I just put text in there for now. And then this is the body text. It has the wrapper for the container, and there's a sidebar text and stuff. What I'm doing now, when I kind of like this approach, is that I have like kind of layers of views for the whole thing. So the workspace is just kind of this very generic template. Like there's nothing really going on here. I'm passing in like the basic URLs and like the toast, but it has some like portal targets to the top of the page, so that way I know that the whole thing is like I can kind of get above content when I need to and do like drop downs and overlays and that type of stuff. The toast lives in there too, and this is just going to be, this just has like the thanks message that I want always kind of popped up everywhere on the top of the page, that type of stuff. And then just one slot, and that's it. The slot, just you dump everything, and then the like I have these admin pages, or these like pages that I'm calling, that are kind of like the full view for the page. So everything kind of just like gets wrapped up into here. So it's kind of a fun little way of, or a nice little way of like keeping all your different views clean, because that's one of the biggest troubles, or one of the biggest problems I always find with any of this stuff, is that just how the hell do you keep everything clean? So here's your kind of, I'm probably gonna like move things around and call it like generic templates or something like that, and then I'll have like your other pages. So as we build out more specific pages, if there's something that needs to change, I'd have more of these like admin page views or whatever. But right now I think this is probably one of the only ones. I may have like 2 or 3, but I don't think I'll have that many. And again, just to try to make it a little bit cleaner and keep the code cleaner, anytime I have CSS for a template, it goes right into the view file, which is my favorite thing by far about having these view single file components, is that I can sit here and now here are all my styles for just this page. I pull in my abstract CSS, which is just like, these are like variables and like all the mixins I use. I can pull this into every single file. I can do that import into every single file, because the way Sass works is that if it's like mixins don't get injected automatically into your code, like there's nothing to inject. There's nothing to inject for like variables either. It just uses them. It just has now. So this import statement is essentially just using like all these generic things, and I now have access to my variables, my mixins, and all that stuff. So the only CSS that needs to be scoped or needs to be whatever is this stuff right here. Yep, and that's pretty much it. So I have all my CSS right down in here for just this page. Then we can kind of, turtle down even further when we need to for the sidebar. So if we want to look, I have these two sidebars here. I have sidebar right here, and then I have secondary nav. And on the page itself, you'll see this is the header, and this is where the secondary sidebar is right now, and then this is like the main sidebar, or this is the secondary navigation, which I'm gonna probably turn into like a little avatar for the picture. Like I'll put a picture of the person's face in there, and then have a drop-down menu. But for right now, it's just a button. It's just the logout button, and then this is your main navigation area, and all that stuff is just kept into components. So these are what I'm calling page components. So I guess this is something that I think I try to think a lot about when I'm working with Vue or any JavaScript framework, is what's a component versus what is not a component. Like and why is there something that's different here, and what is the difference? So the main differences that I come up with most of the time is that a component is something that can be used anywhere on the site. Right, so you're going to have components like I have like my forms and or different like form pieces and things like that. Those are components. They can be used anywhere. But then you have these other things that you want to break out right into their own little piece, but it's not necessarily a component insofar as it's going to be used on multiple pages. It's like a page component. So that's really like what these things are. Like main navigation it's just something that is being used for, like, it's just a navigation element. It's just like you can see in here, it's not one component. It's not a widget or a thing that you can put somewhere else on your website, like, or anywhere else on your website. It's just the navigation, but it's just cleaner to break it out into its own separate thing. And I can kind of keep all the logic together with this thing. So this is my logic for doing the toggle, which is just silly. It's nothing crazy. I just check if it's open, and if it's not, I close it. Nothing crazy going on in here, but I can keep this logic here. And again, I can keep the CSS for this here. So now all the CSS lives here, and I don't have to worry about anything else. And again, it pulls in the abstract styles, and I have access to my variables, and I have access to all the stuff that I need access to. So yeah, that's just kind of how this whole thing works. And then if you want to see I think I showed you this, but so here's my little my little hamburger nav here, which is working with this isOpen function, or isOpen watch function. So I click on that, and now it opens and it shows you the whole thing, or close. So it's just toggles open, close, and if it stays open. So I have this extra little so now it's open like this, but it closes the minute you start moving this thing around. So if you happen to be moving the screen around, I automatically set I have a watch or I have an event listener for resize. I immediately set it to isOpen to false, just so that way it doesn't. You don't want to, like, I have a site that actually has this problem where the sidebar, if somebody was playing with the screen size for whatever reason, they open the sidebar and they open or close the screen, they can have they do stupid things where all of a sudden like they close it, and then the sidebar when you go to the other page is still closed or open. It just ends up looking really weird when you go from like a super small screen to a really large screen. And it's not something that 95% probably 99% of the people won't see it. but that one person will be a pain in the ass, and they're going to mention it. They'll be like, hey, when I went from, you know, super small screen to a really large screen, and I shook it around for like 10 minutes, it broke and did this, and you're like, okay, fine. So this makes sure I never have to deal with that again, because it just automatically closes the sidebar correctly, and then I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, and again, it's just a button with a click. Click changes the variable to whatever the opposite is, so is open or not is open, and I just do some query selectors and I adjust the size. So it's always fun. It's always weird, I find, doing like DOM stuff with Vue. I don't know why. It's always just one of those things where I feel like I'm doing something wrong if I'm using the DOM or if I'm using query selector, and I don't know why that is. It's just a silly feeling I have. But this is, you know, I don't know if there's a better way to do this. I was trying to think about it last night. Like, is there something better? Is there a different way that I can do this that would be cleaner? This feels pretty clean to me, but yeah, I don't know. This, again, like, I had to attach a listener. You have to attach it to the window, because I can't listen for just any one particular thing. I have to listen for the entire page to change size. So again, it's right. It totally works. But could it be better? Maybe. If you can think of something better, I'm totally all ears. But this was the way I kind of did it, and it works, and it's fast. You know, I think that's always one of the things you have to be a little bit concerned about. Like, you know, does it work? And yeah, it totally, you know, or does it work quickly? Like, is it gonna, you know, oops, is it gonna, like, I don't know, do something funny at a weird size or whatever? But no, everything seems to work fine. So okay, that's it for today with this stuff, with my, like, navigational elements. I think, again, I think this is in a pretty good spot right now. I don't need to do any more designy stuff for here, at least I don't think. Where I'm probably going to need to do some design stuff now will be, like, more internal into the page itself, like when we get to these different things. So okay, so we're at the point now, I think, where we're going to start working on the billing stuff and cashier inside of here. So you can see I've started to build out just a couple different areas that I want to work on. So there's a couple of bigger components that I want this piece of software to be able to handle. The first one being obviously billing, not so much billing as in, like, doing billing. Billing is handled by Stripe. All this is connected to Stripe, and it works fine. But it's using Cashier. Like, I want to give some convenience ways for people to change their credit card and do all that stuff. And I don't want to take people off world to another portal or to another place to do that stuff. Like, I like the idea. I think Stripe has just introduced this, like, whole Stripe portal thing. It's interesting. I think I like the idea, but at the same time, I'm a little weirded out by the idea of taking people somewhere else to do payment stuff. I've always felt that way, though. I always felt it weird when, like, you go from, like, a page that looks kind of like yours to something else, and then you have to, like, look at the URL and say, oh, okay, they're on PayPal, or oh, they're on Stripe. Okay. So I just try not to do that to the experience. I like the experience of everything to be kind of unified. That's just my opinion on this whole thing. I like the unified experience. So I like to build in those features when I can. And also the other thing, this is just my personal opinion on it. I never want to be so tied to any one particular third-party application or thing. So I always get really like, obviously you have to be tied to your framework, right? So I'm tied to Laravel. I get that. I'm tied to Vue. Fine. That's not the end. That's not the end of the world. But there are third-party applications that this thing works with, right? So Stripe. So now if I'm tied to Stripe, and I doubt I'm ever leaving Stripe either. That's not necessarily the concern. But once you start, like, using their portal and doing all that stuff, like, I don't know, there's something that just doesn't necessarily feel right to me about that. It feels like all of a sudden, if Stripe does something, and I don't even know what they would do, like, it's totally tinfoil hat kind of thing, I think, in some ways, where I'm just sitting there saying, hey, like, I don't want, like, just in case Stripe decides to, like, steal all my money. I want to be able to change over to Molly or to something else. Braintree, I want to be able to rip it out. But that's kind of what it is also. It's like just in case something crazy happens, I want to be the person who can say, all right, boom, let's go to something else now. Or maybe it's just the idea, wow, these things are so successful, we need to have 3 different payment gateways because we're sending so much money their way, or, you know, we I don't know, something like that, right? I just let me manage all that stuff on my own. That's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. All right, so that's billing. So that's what I want to work on, kind of those things today. And there's probably a whole bunch of other stuff in here. Then there's the idea of obviously managing your members, managing your different workspaces, and then managing your custom URLs. So right now I actually have built into this already most of the certbot stuff that needs to happen, and most of the managing your own custom domain stuff that needs to happen. Everything's built in and ready to go. I'm just not actually doing it yet. So if you were to look at the database, you can see that with in the shared lookup table, I have both this, I have the concept of a slug and a domain. So the slug is obviously just a slug on your URL, but then there is the concept of a domain that you can put in, like, you know, this points to, in, like, you know, my case, maybe joesanflone.co.co. And that would be my, you know, and that's the domain that it points to, and everything works perfectly. You know, and then you just type in that and it gives you the, you know, the correct, you know, it redirects all correctly. So all that logic is kind of built into place already. But I need to expose that to people so that way they can actually enter that information and do it. My biggest problem here is that I don't know, like, how the hell do you test that inside of Homestead? So I'm kind of punting on that one for a little bit, because I'm like, I'm assuming there's a way of testing all that in Homestead, but I don't even want to like think about it for the moment in time. For the moment in time, I'm not working on it, but maybe I'll have to just put this on a real domain to like see if I can like do something with domains. Like, you know, domain stuff is like in that like networking end of things is like something I usually let other people handle. Like, I know the code works and I know it can do it, but I just locally I'm just like, I don't know, let's use real domains and try it and see what happens. But all right, so cool. Billing. Let's start with this. So what is it that we want to be able to do here, and how do we expose it and show it and work with it? Well, all right, let's go into, actually, let's go open up Firefox one more time, and let's go over to our dashboard in GitHub. So, okay, this is where we are. This is what we're working on today. So I go over to edits, and let's edit our note and take a look at this. So we want to be able to, you know, this is what I'm calling like the customer CRUD, or customer create, read, update, delete type of information. I'm actually not doing the owner's stuff in here because there's really, I don't think I need that there. That's probably going to be in the members section. Like when you just go to manage all of your users, you can make somebody an owner. All right, so we get rid of that. So then it's just view invoices, cancel accounts, upgrade accounts, and then like do your like stuff with your credit cards. Those are kind of the things I'm thinking that we're going to be able to do, or that I want to do right now. So let's just start with, I guess the first part is really just let's open up the Cashier documentation, because there's a lot of stuff in Laravel Cashier / Cashier that. Let's just go to the docs, because I think it's like under 8.0. Yeah, packages, Cashier. And see, and this is the nice thing about Cashier again too, which is why I don't want to go off-world into different portals, because right now there are 3 different types of Cashier. Like this one's for Stripe, this one's for Paddle, this one's for Molly. Like if you want to switch out to some other, like, oh, we're going to use Paddle, we're going to use Molly, I can do that in here with Cashier. It should just be a matter of kind of switching out a few things, and that's it. But if you integrate too deeply with Stripe, you're never going to be able to do that. Again, I have no reason to say that like Stripe is doing anything bad. I don't think they are. I don't think there's any issues. I have personally no problems with them, but I'm not going to use their freaking portal. All right, so yeah, so as you can see, there is a ton of stuff we can do with Stripe and with Cashier here. So let's just pop this out for a minute. Woo, go over here. I'm going to leave this on this side of my screen because there's just a bunch of notes that I want to leave up so we can take a look at what we're doing. And let's go over to, yeah, I was looking at Ping CRM. I like how they do certain things. I was looking specifically at this, and because I was trying to remember, I was like, how do I want to do the header? And I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, I like that idea of just having a little drop down, and I'll put the person's profile picture in there. So that's what gave me the idea for that. All right, close that out. We'll leave this open for now and go back over here. So, all right, I think the first thing we should do is, I don't know, let's create, let's get all of your, I want to be able to, I guess, see some sort of information about the person, right? So we can probably just get info about their subscription when we go to this billing page. I think that's probably, like, let's just get a bunch of info, see what we can see, and then we'll kind of go from there. So all right, now let's close this out. Let's create a new, here, let me, wait, what is, hold on, what did I change in here? Okay, nothing. I wanted to see if I needed to commit any code, but I don't. I'm pretty good at this moment in time. All right, terminal. Just in case I need that, I want to have that open and ready to go. So let's create our billing page, which is under, the first thing we need is just let's create the controller for that. So I'm just going to create a workspace, and I'm just going to call this whole section just billing for right now. Or I guess customer. Actually, you know what? Since I use the word customer for it, we'll just call it customer, and then I'll create like a billing page under that. So that kind of, I think, makes sense. Let's grab dashboard section, Control C, Control V. It's just easier to copy stuff sometimes. Customer. And then inside of customer, we're going to just delete the choose page for now. We'll just work with this, and we'll call this billing. Oh, yeah, that works for me. All right, workspace customer, that looks good there. And then we will go to what? Let's go to the routes. First routes. And I'm going to create a new kind of grouping. No, we'll start right here. So we have this is our grouping with middleware that takes in our authorization, the workspace stuff, and guest account stuff. So we'll just start a new one right here, or another area right here inside of this, because we want to make sure that you have to be authorized and all that stuff in here. So we'll say route get customer billing. That'll just be the start of it. Customers / billing. Oops. Class. Name is customer.billing. That's nice and redundant everywhere. And has no problem getting there, right? Make sure I change the names of everything here. Good. Okay, so we have our route. Now we just need our page. So, all right, so that's just, we created the route, we created the controller. Now I go inside of here, go in JS, pages, workspace. I'm gonna just copy again this, call it customer. Inside of customer, we're gonna delete the choose page, change dashboard view into billing.view. So that'll work, except for the Ziggy stuff won't work. So let me cancel out of this. I'm also going to just dump the autoloader, or the whatever that is, the dumping thing, just to do it for now. I like to do that every now and then just to kind of make sure everything is clean. Okay, so now we go to Yarn watch again. So this is going to run Ziggy for me also. I have like just set in my watcher to run Ziggy generate. So it'll find the new route names, and now I can go to my what is it? What was the name of the file? Main navigation. Scroll up. Oh, it's in sidebar. Now we're going to say for this. Oh no, wrong one. Billing is down here. The order of these things is totally arbitrary right now too. Like I haven't, like, it's not like I'm sitting here and I made this isn't like made this way for a particular reason. It just is what it is. Routes. Customer. Oh. Customer.billing. So the inertial link goes to there. That passes. And okay, all that works. Nothing failed. Good. Let's go over to billing view. Customer billing, and welcome to billing. I just want to see that this changes. So now we can go here and we'll know that the page is actually legitimately working. Oh, let's change this to billing, which means, hold on, I got to open up sidebar. Oops. So I have a little helper in here that just checks, that adds an extra class. Billing. So the way it works is you pass in the nav of billing or whatever the word is you want to use as your keyword into here. And then this just says it's going to use a class called selected. And if it finds the selected, if nav is equal to whatever, it adds the selected class, and that adds the styles for the main navigation. Refresh, click on billing. Hey, look at that, works. Billing and dashboard. Sweet. All right, so we're done. That's it. That's all I needed to do. Nothing else. It's just totally working. We can now get paid. All right, so here's the billing page. What can we now do here? What will be kind of fun stuff to have showing up on this page? Well, obviously we're going to need the authorized user. And again, another thing I should point out is that we'll have to add in some actual like authorization to these pages too, because right now I can log in and see it, but technically anybody could log in and see it. Like you could be a member, an owner, or whatever, you would be able to get to these pages. So that we'll handle later when we start actually putting in our like authorization stuff. So that way a user who is not authorized to deal with the billing info, like they won't even be able to get here. But for right now, we're good to go. So I guess the first thing we can do is kind of just like, there seems like a lot of different things we can do in here. I'm looking at like retrieving the customer, and what does that do? So let's just take a look at that and see how that works. So if I say in here, so Cashier has its own, pull that in, find billable. That's something that we have in here at the moment, and this has access to, I need the Stripe ID. Where is the Stripe ID? That is a good question. Where did I put that on? I think I put that on the, damn it, I don't even remember. I think that's on the customer. Let's look at Table Plus. Shared. So this would be under Rebase shared, I think. Yeah, so this is where my subscription stuff is. So you can see the active information. Here's your customer ID. So customers, scroll on over there. Yep. Okay, so the customer has the Stripe ID on it. So let's just say how do I find this customer? What would be the way of doing that? Well, I'm in the workspace and I am the authorized user, and the auth user, I believe, has the, well, oh no, I already have the, I have the workspace ID and the customer ID already saved into my session, if I remember correctly. And I can double check that. So session attributes, I think this, I already put that in there. Here's your role, flash token. Oh, nope, maybe I didn't put it in there. Let's look and see. Request headers, no. Oh, maybe I put it in the, oh yeah, request. Customer ID, boom, there we go. So I already have all this information here. Yeah, I thought I did that. Okay, good. So now I can just use the customer ID to get the customer information, basically. And I have the workspace, so I already know all that stuff. All right, cool. So now I can just say customer is equal to customer repository, get request, get customer ID. All right, so now we have the customer, and then I can just say customer Stripe ID inside of here. This thing doesn't actually work yet. Or I could probably just do a get. I think I have get in there. Look for get by ID is getting an ID where ID equals ID. And the customer, yep, that'll actually work. That should probably do it for us. And then we can dump out the, let's just, actually I have no idea what this is going to look like. What data actually comes out of Cashier for us in this case. So let's just, let's take a look at this, because I dyne dump the X. Let's dyne dump Cashier and kind of see like what happens when we get, like, what do we get from Stripe? Well, I don't think this isn't going to Stripe. This is probably coming from our own stuff, but let's see. That works. Eloquent customer repository get. It's not, why are you not getting the get? Oh, get by ID. That's fine. Yeah, my nose is itching, sorry. Okay, so we have that's just our customer. So, okay, that's just fine. Okay, so basically this is just taking the Stripe ID from the customer and returning the customer to me. That's not anything extra that I need for right now. So if I just said, here, let me do this. That means these things should be equal. 18, shared customers. Let's look at attributes. Attributes are identical. Yeah, this is the exact same customer, so it just returned to me the customer. Yeah, that was an exciting find inside of Cashier. Actually, I mean, I guess that's good that if you just have the ID, you can do some sort of information with that. That might be great for like a customer service thing where you say to somebody like, "Hey, what's your Stripe ID?" and then they give it to you, and then you can find it later. But in this case, totally not necessary. Well, we got the customer. Great. Now what? What I want to see is I'm looking over here at these things. How do I get how do I update? Let's say I want to update the payment method that they have. How can I do that? And that'll be interesting to see if that's something that's easy or not, or what the craziness is involved in that. Hopefully it's not too crazy, because that would be kind of nice to be able to do. Oh, you can look up their default payment method. I can look up payment methods on them. So if they have, okay, so once I have the customer, okay, so this might be more interesting now. Let's just do, let's get rid of that. And let's say, I'll just look up payment methods. And let's see what that looks like. Well, break, or is that actually a real thing? Nope, it's a real thing. Collection, sweet. Payment method, owner, payment method. Nice. Okay. And if you're like, oh my God, he's showing his API keys. No, I'm not. This is like all like fake stuff from Stripe. So I'm not, there's nothing in here that, I mean, if you want to like somehow use these keys to like send me real money, I'm totally fine with that. Like make sure it's your money though, and not like you're scamming somebody else. All right, so yeah, okay, so this is kind of cool though. So it tells you the payment method that we used. It tells me all of the, so this is cool. This comes back as an array of items. So if a person has like 10 cards in Stripe, then I guess it would return, payment methods would return all of them. Whereas if I were to say default payment methods, that should return me just whatever my default was, if I have a default. I guess default would be the last thing I used. Billing details, cool. Fingerprint for the card. Live mode false, as you can see. Checks, the hell? Oh, CVC check. I thought it meant like checks somehow. Okay, great. This is pretty. This is substantial. This is a lot of information that comes out of here. Oh, okay. Save with parent. I don't know what that means. Cool. Okay, so this gives us our default payment method. And so there's also has payment method, which we don't need because in this system you had to pay first. So I guess has payment method would be important if you were giving a free trial where they didn't have to sign up with a credit card. So in this case, there are no free trials. You have to put a credit card in. Therefore, there will be a default payment method, I think. I'm assuming, well, I guess the person could. No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess they could go in and delete their own payment methods from your site. So maybe I do need to worry about that a little bit. Change their payment method, adding a payment method, deleting a payment method. Okay, so there's tons of ways of like deleting payment methods. Retrieve a payment method. So what I'm seeing here is that, okay, there's an update. Okay, updating the default payment method. Strike payment method identifier, and we'll assign a new payment method as the default billing payment method. Interesting. You know what I'm not seeing on here right now, which I'm actually not sure how you would do this, so I'm gonna wait on that for a minute. I'm assuming you're gonna need to use the Stripe like the Stripe JavaScript stub in this page, or the JavaScript stuff, not the stub, but the JavaScript, because I can't submit the payment like this. Yeah, I can't just like submit a new credit card through here. So there has to be something else that I'm missing before I do that, right? So that I don't want to like, because as soon as the credit card number passes through your system, you are, even if you were just being used as a pass-through, In the United States, you'd have to then be concerned with PCI compliance. Like all of a sudden the burden of PCI compliance falls onto you, which is why Stripe uses JavaScript to like you send the information to their servers, they check, make sure the credit card is good, they send you back the token, and the token is what you then like pass through your system. So the like the user's credit card number never goes anywhere through your code or through your servers, I mean. So I think there's something I'm missing from the docs that I'm just from my cursory glance here, I'm not seeing yet, which is fine. Okay, and there's a bunch of stuff you can do with subscriptions too. Okay, cool. Yeah, wow, there's a I mean, like Stripe is, or Stripe, not Stripe, sorry. Cashier is huge. It's got lots of different things in here, lots of moving parts. I can see why they did Nova after this, because once you have all of this stuff built, you can kind of just like do all of those things. Changing plans, skip trials, swap, prorating somebody's subscription quantities. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Oof. All right. I have to think about where we go with all this information, because there's a ton of it right now. But all right, here we got the customer, we got from the customer ID. What can we do with this information? I think let's look at their subscriptions. Let's see if we can just see what they have at the moment in time. Maybe we can just dump out some subscription information saying, hey, this is the plan you're currently on. And then I can give them a way of canceling the plan right there, or updating the plan. Let's just put that here for now and see what that looks like. So let's just die and dump the customer subscription data, which should be under subscriptions default, I believe. I think this tells you something. We'll find out what it tells you. That's just a query. All right. Get. All right, here. First, let's try first, because there shouldn't be any more than one. All right, so that's getting me the subscription information off of the subscription table. Active. Trial ends at. Ooh, the ends at date is null. That is not good. See, because that information I think I'm going to need for. No. That shouldn't be okay. Maybe I do want that information. Ends at would I think be what you need if they canceled the plan, or prior to them canceling the plan too, right? Like you want to be able to show like, hey, this is when you. Well, I guess you would just say your next renewing bill is basically whatever your plan type is. So I use yearly, so then I could just say what a year from this date is when the ends at is. Oh wait, okay. I bet you that's what why this is null. So if I said, how do you do cancel? I think it's just you. Let's see. I don't have a multi-plan subscription. Prorating, no. Changing plans, no. Although changing plans is something good to do too. We'll work on that in a minute too. So we'll let you upgrade, downgrade. But I want to see if there's a way on here. I think I'm gonna do active, and that'll tell me whether or not, like this will say true or false for active. So true, yeah. Ended is the same thing, so probably that'll say false. Okay. Yeah, so ended is about not and C canceled. If I could spell correctly, this would be, my life would be infinitely better. Oh, this would probably get all your not canceled plans. Oh, these are your scopes. Okay. Then that one's a scope. Okay, so I don't need that. So we're getting the subscription. We're getting the first subscription, like their default subscription, which is there's only one. You can only be subscribed to one thing at a time in my system. I guess that could be different for other code bases that you're working with. I guess in some ways you could have multiple subscriptions or different levels or something, but here I only have the one. So cool. So now I can say what in here? Let's say I go to This is probably going to be all active stuff. Or no, is it active? Okay, so that is active. Okay. All right. So yeah, so now what we can do is kind of build out a page that says where you're at, right? I mean, look at even just like this active information that we get off of here. Like, is the person active or is the account active? We can kind of pass in a status. So let's think about what we want to kind of pass into here first. I'm just going to kind of make some notes in here. So is the account active? The build next. Those are definitely two things we want to know. Things we want, yeah, this is what we want them to know. We want to know if their account is active. That would tell us that. When will they be billed next, which is, you know, your due date, I guess. What does recurring bring back? Oh, I guess that's just saying, yes, this is set up on a recurring charge of some sort. Okay. What other information do we? Well, we don't need to know if it's recurring. We just need to know when they're going to be billed next. So, what's their account, or is their account active? When are they going to be billed next? Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other stuff I want to know from the user. Hey, Mr. Dan, I know you too. I'm on TV. Hi. So yeah, what else do I want to do here? So yeah, obviously, okay. Now I'm all flustered and stuff. All right, their account type or their account active, their billing dates next, and let's see, what else do I want to do? Just kind of scrolling down this thing. Oh, change the plans. Yeah, let's see. We'll give them the ability to. So this is C. Ability to cancel. And then we need to do what? Cancel plan, swap plan. And I think that's it. We're not going to do refunds because I don't do refunds. You buy my stuff, you buy it. That's it. You can just, it'll just end. So, all right, cool. So that works. So let's just, yeah, let's get this information now. So we have the subscription here, and then we have to, well, can I just say active? Will that give me just their active information? Or just tell me whether or not they're active? No. Okay, so then I have to still say get. There's only going to be one. Like, cause yeah, one. Well, no, because I got the customer by the customer ID, so there's only ever going to be one subscription for them. Okay, so I'll just do first. I'm gonna, all right, I'm just gonna kind of do this like in a very manual way for the moment in time, and then we'll figure out what would be probably a better way of kind of pulling in all of this data and doing stuff with it. So for right now, I have the first customer in there, and I'm just saying this is their active. So actually, no, we'll say status. I don't want to get status. I want to get active, I think. So is active is equal to true. There are other states, but we can just say for right now if they're active. Versus, I guess we'll figure out what some of those other states are. And then we'll say next billing date. Created at. Well, probably better to do updated at. I think that would probably be the best thing to pull out of there. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, because if I did the created at date, then it would always be 2020. But if it's 2022 and they've been paying for 3 years, the updated at date is the thing that's going to change. So I want to always look at the updated at date to see when they paid, use that as the 1 year mark, basically. So this just returns carbon, which I think I can say like plus a year or something like that. But let's just get the date for now. So we have something on this page. And then the ability to swap the plan out. So that's going to be, we have to basically show the plans on the page. And then we're going to have to just pick the new plan. So I already have the plans in the on the screen, or not on the screen, in the I have the plans kind of saved into memory by every time I go to the page. So it's like in shared inertia data. So that's probably good to just be able to look at there. So okay, for now, let's go here and we'll just pass in our data of is active and next billing date. Oops. I know I'm gonna have to change that, but that just gives us kind of a, I just want to put something on the screen just to get it, something out there. All right, so this is now in the billing page. When I go to the billing page, it'll just be saying nothing but welcome. All right, so let's go to billing.view. And think about what the hell this is going to look like. Boy, I'd love to have a design for this, Dan, if you're still watching. It would be awesome if I had some sort of idea how to build these pages. Yeah. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'll just... I think for the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just like, I'll put like your status right here. I'll put the customer name right here, like up here somewhere. So it'll show customer name, it'll show the status, it'll show your next billing date right there next to it. So that's kind of what I'll just do. So let's just actually pass in the entire customer. And you know what? Let's actually, I'm going to pass in the subscription too. Just the I have a feeling this is like really all I need. And then I'm going to be able to get to all the other data from there. So like, I don't think I need active and this information, but we'll take it in for now and see what happens. The way I kind of work with some of this stuff is like the very first, like this is the first time I'm really kind of playing with Cashier in this much depth, where I'm trying to like pull certain information out of it. So I'm not necessarily like, don't look at this code and say, wow, this is really not performant. It probably isn't. I'm not worried about that at this point in time. All I'm worried about is just getting this stuff to the screen, making sure it kind of works, and then I can go back and refactor it and make it look better. Like right now, I just want to see what I can see, make it look not even good, just like make it look like something. Like yeah, I think if I'm doing 6 different queries on this page, like that's gonna have to change. I mean, granted, it's still like the request duration is taking 1.1 seconds. Like that's 10 queries. That is absolutely way too much stuff going on here, clearly. But for the moment, I'm okay with that. I'll figure out how to optimize it in a minute. Like I don't need to figure that out right now. I just need to figure out, let's get the information to the screen. Let's see where I can get all the information from. Then we'll rip out the queries we don't need. Like maybe I don't even need the subscription stuff, or maybe I don't need to get is active and billing in here right now. So, or whatever. So let's go into our props. Let's just create some props right here. And we'll look for customer. I'm assuming that's going to be an object. And then what else do we need? All right. Refresh this. Like, yeah, this is yeah, you're like, oh wow, I'm only using 5 megabytes of memory. I also have 8 queries and 1.9 seconds. Yeah, screw that. That's taking way too long. But again, for now, it'll be okay. Billing. Let's look at the stuff. So we have our object. So you can see the whole user. Good. Updated at, I can see the time. Yeah, so I can already get all this information here. I can see the last 4 the credit card they used, their address. So I can let them update this information out of here too. So that can like update your customer info right here. What does subscription give us? Customer ID again, which we have. The date it was created, updated at date. Yeah, trial ends. Your status. Oh yeah, see, so I don't even have to do anything to get your status. I can just get it right from there. Your Stripe status. For items, this should be like your address and stuff, or the Stripe. Okay, so this is items are like your Stripe plan and all of that stuff that you happen to be on. So yeah, this actually tells me then I got everything I need right there. So before I was trying to do I'm not even going to use these. I'm going to just dump those things out immediately because that's not needed. But I can probably also just, yeah, I dropped it down to 4 queries. These 2 happen outside, so that makes sense. So now it's just 2 new queries, which is where I'm doing where's the customer? This is grabbing the member. This is grabbing the slug, making sure we're okay. We're fine there. And then this is saying this is the subscription. Where's subscription? Blah blah blah. All right, cool. So I wonder if I can just say customer with subscription and just kind of eager load that. I think that would probably be, in this case, that would probably make sense. I was like get by ID, or get customer. Like if I just, instead of using this get by ID, I just create something that eager loads the subscription automatically. We'll probably cut down even that query one more. So if I did customer is equal to repository load. How do I do eager loading? I don't even remember anymore. I build stuff and then I forget how I make it work. Let's look at it. That would be in the I think I did something like that in the workspace. Has been onboarded. Filter, get owner with email. No, not filtering. Oh, okay. Yeah, here's where I did it. I did a get workspace with roles, and then I cached this information. So this was a query I used for finding out what your role is when you log in. So when you log in, I grab your role, and it's cached. So it only happens once every 5 minutes, basically, to make sure you still have a role in the database. But yeah, I load the workspace here and then grab firstware and then do all the other information on that. So yeah, I bet you I can use something exactly like this for the subscription. So let's copy this and go back over to billing and say, we'll call this get customer with subscription. And that will be request get customer ID. So that's not going to work yet because we have to build it. But then I go over here and go to Eloquent customer repository. Plunk this over here on the side. Get with subscription string ID. Yeah, customer ID. Hopefully that's easy. It's okay for you guys to read. I had to just pump the I had to pop it back for a minute. Here, I'll do this. Now back to where it was. Get a little. Okay. So yeah. Obviously, I don't want to do this with Workspace, but I would say I'm not going to cache this. This load, yeah. So it's this load and then subscriptions. Subscription or subscriptions? Subscriptions. Load subscriptions. And then what was I doing in there with that? First. That's kind of essentially all I was doing for that part, but it's actually, well, it's a little more than that. This load subscription where ID is customer ID. Let's see what that gives me. Back. So okay, load subscriptions where ID is this. So it should grab the first. It should find me as the owner. Should find that, and that should pull in my customer with the subscriptions that they have. I'll just take all of them, which in this case is essentially still just one. There we go. We got the attributes, and we should have a. So, got my user. Where's the. Billable? Yeah, nope. Casts. No, where's the relations? Nope, didn't get what I was looking for. Oh, I guess maybe I have to do it. I never know the ordering of some of these things. I'm trying to get better with Eloquent because what I would do prior is just not always use Eloquent. Like I always found it's powerful. It's got a lot of stuff to it, but sometimes I would just sit there and say, I can just do this as a query. And then I would just use the query builder and just like get the data out, which is fine too. But I'm making a concerted effort to actually use Eloquent and break things subsequently. What would I do? This model where I don't think that's okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't think that's a real thing. And this gets I gotta do a with subscription, load subscription. I don't know. Let's just do. This should just get me back the customer. Great, got that. Okay. How do I do it here? Oh. Oh, see, because here I was just like, give me all the workspaces. So I was doing, I don't think load's the right thing. So I think it's like with subscriptions or something like that. Is that the right word? Let's try with subscriptions. Hey, there we go. We got the relations. Boom. Okay. All right, cool. So that gets all the subscription data. So this will be just everything, but I just need the first. So I wonder if I could just say, I don't know if there's a first where, but that's we'll leave it for now. Get customer with subscription. Change that to subscriptions. Because I'm also wondering, like, is every year a new subscription technically? I'm not 100% sure. I will have to read through this docs just to make sure, because it could be that you get saved every single year with a new subscription, in which case you don't want the first, you want all of them. I'm not saying that's what it does. I'm saying I don't know if that's what it does. So let's before I just grab one and say, that's it, that's all I need, and then a year ago, like that's one of those bugs that you literally don't find for a year. Because you're like, hey, everyone says that their subscription's renewing, but they go to look at it and they can't see any of the data, and you're like, what? Oh, okay. So we'll grab it all. We'll grab it all. All right, now if I go here. With subscriptions. All right. Customers, there we go. Oh, why is it doing subscription items? I guess every time it oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm okay with the number right now, but we're down to 660 milliseconds, which is like basically half the time it was a few minutes ago. So that's better. But let's put some stuff on the page here and then see really what we need, because that's actually going to, I think, tell more. So okay, so we close that out. Get rid of that information. Let's get your all right, let's go back over to our mobile view. Welcome to billing. Hello. What is it? Customer dot. Get some information for that. We'll get their name right now. Billing. So what is that? Customer dot. Oh, why is it getting this? Oh, yeah. Workspace. Billing customer dot name. What did we break? Broke something. Let's look at our console. Nothing broken. Just oh. It's up here. That's why I was like, where don't I see this? Let's remove that. Put that back here. There we go. All right. Say dot call 10 centered for right now. And that'll be an H1 of just the name. Then right under that, we're gonna just do I'll just do some sort of badge, which I don't have. So I will just make it a button for the moment in time. Class equals what is this? So this will be button. We'll just do a standard button, and I'll just make it extra small. I can disable it too, but we don't need to do that. Why is that so small? Because I spelled this wrong. If you can't spell centered, it can't center your text. There we go. That's a little too centered. Go to 10, and then yeah, that's good for there. I mean, hell, let's call 2. At least have them kind of next to each other. Probably too small for them to be next to each other. Here that makes sense, but in other views it doesn't. All right, so and let's say after it gets past the small, call 10 and SM call 2. Oop, there we go. Why is this all down like that? That's a little weird. There we go. Yeah, I have just different ways of doing stuff with my grid system here. So okay, good, that works. Why is that centered in there? Jesus, that looks like crap. Is that because of this? Do I have something in here that's doing that? Look. I don't think this does anything. All right. Oh, it's because of the call 10, and then I centered it inside of there. Okay. So yeah, we don't need call 10 for this. Really, what I need is just. I think realistically, all I really need is just call 2 everywhere. Oh no, that's gonna fit in there. All right, fine. Call 10, but then I'll have to not center it. So for right now, I'm just gonna leave it centered just to get it on the screen, make it see, like, let's make sure we're seeing the stuff here. So okay, cool. We have button. So we can actually see what our status is here. So now if this was a canceled account, it would say canceled or whatever. So it would show our correct status there on the page. Shows the name of the customer, which is just my name in this case, but whatever when we log in. Now I want to just do, I guess I'll put under it the billing address for the customer. Yeah, I think that, again, I think that makes sense. Let's do another, I'll open up another grid. In my system, grid is like saying row. Although theoretically I could just keep adding columns in here and it'll flow down the page, but I usually like to, every time I kind of go to a new row, I want to make sure it actually shows a new row. Call, we'll do, I think call 10 is just kind of my standard. That's what I'm going to stick with. We'll use a definition list here. Definition term will be billing address. And then okay, so then we'll put inside of here. There used to be an address thing. Does address still exist, or am I just showing my age? You used to be able to do this. Let's just do that again and see what the hell happens here. So customer dot line 1. I think that's what I used to be. Billing customer. Yep, line 1, 2, 3. Postal code state. I call it city or province or something. That's annoying, but I guess this is v if there we go. All right, so this is our billing address. Now we can see that there. Probably have some sort of edit button. Maybe I'll put that next to the DT. So maybe I'll do something like this. Secondary x small. Yeah, there we go. So again, so obviously this looks like crap, but who cares? We're just dumping this information onto the screen now. So you can come here, you can be in your dashboard, doing whatever your dashboardy things are. You want to go to your billing information, you can look at it, you can see the name of the company, you can see that you're still active, you can see the address, and then now we can click on this button and we can allow you to edit your address. I'll probably have to send that back to Stripe too, because the address is kept really in 2 places. So we're gonna have to figure out how to send, update that information through Stripe. Billing address. Let's grab some other information. Let's take this whole thing. Create a whole new row. Right there. Credit card information. I don't need those things. Yeah, let's see what we can get out of the billing. Customer. Oh, look at that. I have the subscriptions. I forgot. So 0. Okay, so I think this is these items. I'll have to double check again, but I think the items actually are all of your like different plans that you've paid for over the years. So that's where I can kind of have a running list of all of your like the years you've paid for subscription. I don't know what else they would call them. Items kind of works as a good name for right now. But I think that's what that is doing for us. Trial ends at good. Okay, so yeah, there's don't think I'm getting, which would make sense. There's nothing like payment. So okay, so I do have to do another query to get. Oh no, look, I got last foreign brand right there. Never mind. So I can probably just, at the very least, I can just show this information on the page, which is way more than I need anywhere else. Like I don't need anything else on there. And then I can have you click a button that says go, edit. And then that would take you somewhere else and do whatever the editing stuff is for your information there. Ooh. Yeah, that seems to work. All right. So let's just say what the hell was that field called? Card brand. Last four. How many digits are in a card number? Like 16? I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do that, I guess, just to make it look fancy. No, it doesn't like that. DL. What don't you like? Oh. So yeah, so I have to have super small buttons also, obviously, as you see, or I have to like increase the size of these things, but yeah, okay. Oh yeah, we can do something like this, and now you click on that edit button, and that'll take you somewhere else to do your editing. That's really more of a link. That's fine. These are all really links. So we have the credit card information now that we can do whatever with, and so far I haven't actually even used the subscription information on this page, which starts to make me say, okay, maybe I don't even need the subscription information on this page, which would be great. That's one less query we have to do here. Maybe you go somewhere else to view that, or I just keep it in there, and then I just like now have like view invoices or something. Like there's a button somewhere that you click on. Actually, how do you do invoices? Stripe plan quantity. There, I know there's an invoice thing. Yeah, I can pull in invoices with just a one-liner. That's slightly dangerous, I feel like, in a way, almost because it can because this isn't saved. This is obviously going out to Stripe. It's got to be. I don't, unless it's doing something under the hood where it's generating this, but let's see what this does. Like, what's this going to return? Owner. Stripe invoice. Did it go out for that? Let's look at the. Maybe it's not going. Maybe it's just generating that out of my data. Okay, if it's. For a minute, I assumed it had to like go out and get this, but if it's just generating it, then freaking awesome. Like in some ways, I know that this page is going to be somewhat heavy. It's just because there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to be retrieved on this page, but I just don't want it to be too ridiculous. Like I'm already starting to not like the timing that I'm seeing here. 6 megabytes, 1.36 seconds to load this entire page. It's only executing 5 queries. But then again, I could cache it also, and I can probably do some sort of really long-term like caching on some of this information, I think. So like it may not be the end of the world, but I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the timing on that stuff so far. But again, if it's like going out to Stripe to pull in certain information or like do something like that, then you can almost be like, well, yeah, I get it. But they're not saying that, so maybe it just builds these invoices. Jesus. Yeah, okay, so there's a download invoice that looks like it goes out to do something. So maybe that's what. I haven't got a clue. That's pretty cool. However, whatever it's doing under the hood, I think it's pulling in some sort of like it's pulling in information from God knows where. But it's fun stuff. I enjoy it. I really like the way this is like. That's like it's pretty easy to just get this information now, as you can see. All right, so if I just take that again, copy this information out of here. Let's see what that looks like. Billing, look at our, oh, I didn't get the invoice. I got to pull in the prop. Yeah, I don't need that. I just need, I don't know what this is, an object or an array? It's an array of objects. That is empty. Why is that empty? Didn't I get information before from it? Maybe I gotta just to array it. Let's see what happens there. I could have sworn something was coming over with this. Hosted invoice URL, invoice PDF. Okay, so it's let's look what that looks like real quick over here. I'm going to do that off screen just in case it shows some sort of crazy data that I don't want it to see. I don't think it will, but I don't know. It's fine. Let's pop this information out. So it just shows that the invoice details right there. Okay, so that's like pretty awesome. All right, so how do we get to that information real quick there? Because it says invoices in here, but it didn't. So okay, so let's do this instead. Let's pull in the invoices this way. Because I have invoices is equal to this. Clean that up for a minute. And then what was it? It was under the stripe. This is a collection, right? So we can pull out just the things we want from here. So I'm going to take out the invoice PDF and the date on this. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I mean, I can get all this information out of here. It looks like, and even there's the customer, there's the stripe object for the customer. Wow, yeah, this is pretty cool. Account name, which fine, we're on. All right, so let's get the hosted invoice URL. That's really the only thing I want out of this, which is inside of the Laravel invoice. Okay, let's see how we get to that. Invoices. I is equal to invoices map, do a map function, see what we can kind of map to this whole thing. I'm just doing each. And I think the only thing I want to return right now is just the invoice PDF. Will that work? Invoice. Invoice. Post the PDF. Non-object. All right, maybe. Oh. Type null. I know. What is this? Wait. Invoices. Let's just grab the first real quick, just to see, because I don't know what the hell this is now. I thought I can grab the, maybe I can only get the, no, that's the owner. Okay, so then invoice. All right. Null. That's, oh, I didn't even, it's protected. Wait, okay, so maybe there's like a get invoice function. That's what I was using before, or that's what they're using over here. So, okay. So if I say get invoice, is that what it's called? Display invoice information. Oh, if I said total, that'll work. $80, yeah. All right. So can I get the link if I do a hosted PDF? Or is that on? Is that okay? So they're not gonna let me get the hosted PDF that way. I can grab the date, then you can get the ID. Oh, okay, so you can get the ID to the whole thing, which then allows you to download it. So if you get you just need the ID to do the downloaded invoice. So okay, I want to just grab one invoice and try to look at it real quick. So if I can do that, then so what I should be able to do then is say invoices first, get the download invoice, and then I need the invoice ID. I just want to see this work. So I is equal to, obviously doing things in die and dump is not the ideal way of doing it, but here we are. There. Download invoice ID. I think that will called undefined invoice download invoice. Oh, because it's on the user. It's not on the invoices themselves. That and I spelled, nope. No, I didn't. Okay, so then if I said customer download invoice with the ID. Too few arguments. Expected at least 2 arguments. Oh, vendor and product. Oh. Let's see what happens. Download invoice. did something. It definitely didn't download. But what did it do? I don't think it did. Let me look at the... Yeah, I know that was slow. Hmm. There, boop. Hmm. Maybe if I just... Oh, you know what? It might... I'm gonna do this. I just want to kick back over the request. I just want to return it. If I return this, see if it just downloads then. There we go. Okay. Let's look at that. Let's see what this looks like. Look at that. Your company, your product invoice number. That's pretty nice looking for what it is. I mean, it's just a nice little simple invoice that doesn't have any other information. I'm sure there's ways of customizing what goes into here. All right, that's pretty nice. All right. So then the question is, how many? Okay, so then what I can do is I can just pass it the correct, like a URL. So basically what I'll do is I'll create a URL for invoices that you go to, you click on that, and it would take you to the right, it would print out all this stuff. Okay, that makes sense, mostly. So now I can, so I in this case should be the first invoice. If there happens to be many invoices, I should just be able to say, die and dump invoices get, and that should just get me, what are you getting me? Oh, just in, all right. Invoices should already do that. That should get me all of them. Yep, an array in this case, which is just one. So now I want to, what I really want to return here then is more of like a mapping of stuff. So like this will be like invoice list is equal to customer invoices each. I could say what function $INV key or let's do a map. I think maps are better for this. Return. And what am I returning? I'm just going to return here the ID for right now. I guess let's do total also. Yep. Yeah, so okay, cool. So this I'm going to turn this into a filter in a minute to like actually just filter out and get the correct information. But let's look at this real quick. So I can get the ID, which I need for the whatchamacallit. Let's get the invoice. I'll take the date. For this. So then we can say invoice. What do they have in there? Date. And I'm just going to actually return this as an array. I don't need the collection on top of it. Yeah, there we go. So now I have the date, the total, and the ID. And actually, I could probably just build out the link right through there too with the ID. So I could just say link is equal to and whatever the hell I want it to be. So I don't have one right now, but I can just say like invoice slash dot nv ID. Boom, there you go. And now I have all the methods or all the things I need to actually show this information on the page. So I don't need this. Well, I guess I can still call invoices. I can go back here and I can say no, v4 invoice in invoices. Key is equal to, the key will be equal to, I guess, just the invoice sub ID. And then we can just say what the amount was, I think. Let's just do invoice total. Make sure that works first, and then we'll, oops, we're, oop, we broke something in. Let's go look at view. Invoice is undefined. Why is invoices undefined? Oh, because I spelled it wrong. There we go. Let's try that one more time. Hey, there we go. Got one. 80 bucks. Why is invoices still undefined? That is that doesn't make any sense. Invoices undefined, and yet. All right, I'm gonna leave it for right now. Well, let's just go play. Let's play around with this for a moment. So let's say we have the total. I can say paid on, and then oops, inside of here I can say invoice sub dates. Yeah, let's just do that, and then this will be in. I don't have a link for this even right now, but we'll just do it like we can. This will totally be an inertia link. So we can say link to invoice sub link. Oh, we broke something. Unexpected token. Where? Doesn't like something. Unexpected token. Where is an unexpected token? Not the M dash. Oh wait, do I have like an extra early brace or something somewhere? Let's take out the link real quick. Maybe the link might be putting. I don't know. No idea. Let's just see if that. No, that didn't work either. Okay, where am I? I don't think it's the M dash. Oh, it wasn't. Well, okay, so it's invoice date. Okay. Let's try this again. LIB4 invoices key is equal to invoice ID paid. Just get that. Wanted to see that part working. Step through it. Let's make sure this is showing stuff. Paid. Okay, we got the word. Invoice total. On invoice. And what was it called? Invoice date. Okay, paid thing. Then we can just do A. Invoice ID. Here, I'll say download invoice ID. Download invoice ID or invoice, whatever. Invoice ID. That all worked. So now I just go here and I say invoice link. Cool. Okay. So yeah, I don't 100% know exactly what happened there, but I got the link. Now I can just turn that into a route inside of my system that will actually download go to the correct download place for that. So let's go into my routes real quick. Or what is it? Workspace. No. Yeah. Customer billing invoice ID. I'm going to move this as soon as I know this works. So we'll say return what do I, okay, so I have the invoice ID. So then it's just that it's getting the customer. So there's equal to customer repository. What did I call that before? Because I can use the exact same function. Yeah, so I can take this whole thing, pop it over here, grab the customer from the request because okay. So we get the customer. Now we can say customer download invoice invoice ID. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Okay, so let's see if this works. Customer billing and then billing ID. So we have to just change one thing in there. So let's go back over to billing.php and just change this, the link now route. Fresh. Boom. Boom. There's the invoice. All right. That was really not that bad. Oh, and the name is now whatever your product was. Okay. So that's the name of the product, and then your company name is right there, and just says, see, this is pretty simple to look at here. So that's not really too big. Like that just looks okay. Cool. That's pretty easy to just easily like get this. That wasn't a whole lot of a whole lot of stuff to do. So now we have the credit card information on this page. We have the billing information on this page, or the billing address. We have their status on this page, and now we can start to add other routes in here that will do other things. So, okay, so we're downloading the invoice already, so I can get access to those things. Probably now what I'm going to want to be able to do is edit the address, edit the credit card information. So I'm going to have to look up the credit card, like how to edit that, because I'm not 100% sure how to do this yet. I feel like there's going to be something in there. I'm going to like need a field. And then the last thing I want to be able to do is like cancel your plan. So that's going to just be I'm just going to put that in there right now. And again, we'll have to just build that out because there's probably a few other things that'll need to go in there too. Where am I going to put that? We'll put that at the very bottom of the page because nobody wants to show people like, hey, this is the easy place to go to cancel. No, nobody wants that, right? Well, I think customers do, but so I'm going to put here I'll put here a button. Which will be close my account. And I'm going to make this a danger button, and I'll make it, I guess, so we'll say, what is that? Button, danger. Oh, I also need to call 10. No, just do call 10. That sounded makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that looks fine, other than the fact that I want a giant button like that. I don't want a giant button. So let's do call 10. Let's do call 2 at 4. Yeah, 4, 5, 6 might be at, no, X small. I'm just trying to push the button over, kind of center it. Oh, well, you know what? I don't even have to, I can center it this way. I can just say center. Centered. What in the holy shit? Call 2, centered. Have I like not worked with my own? There we 4, call 4 centered. Fine, fine. Okay, now let's make it small. Oh, well, that ain't good. The variant isn't working correctly on there. Okay. I'll play with that later. That's a bug with the variant for size on centered columns. Oh, I think that actually makes sense. Wait, I think I might be able to quickly fix that. That is under buttons. I think that's actually with queries and variants, button success, danger. Yes. So here are the different sizes. Wait. With queries, size and variants. Small. Wait, with queries, size and variants. That should work. Button icon, button secondary. What is going on there? That's weird. This may not be a quick fix then, because something is up, but I don't know what. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not gonna work because I'm putting the variant for the small button on the column. Let's put it on the actual button itself. There we go. And now I bet you I can go to 2. There we go. I want to make it teeny. Don't want people coming here. Don't want them closing their account. I'll probably put like close your account, do something else. Like there'll be like 2 or 3 things in here, like close your account or whatever. And then the other thing I need to add into this button now is if I just click this button, it's just going to work. Anything that's like a danger button should have a pop-up like, yo, are you sure you want to do this? That automatically comes up no matter what. How would I do that? I think I would say maybe that's just a different button altogether. So I don't even have to like pass in this danger class. Like maybe I just make it where it's like button warning. Sure there, buddy? Yeah, and then account and button. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And button warning is just a wrapper for button with an alert box. So let's build that real quick. So, okay, so button warning is where? Let's grab our button form, button. Button warning.view. I don't know if that needs an icon, but in button warning. We'll leave icons in there, fine, sure, but doesn't need any of this. It needs just the message, which is a string, to come in for it. Button. Yeah, that should be fine. And then I pass into this class of button danger. Attributes. Oh, I don't have to import button. That's imported already for me. Button type, I don't need this. So yeah, what I do need is a what? Methods. Arm is a function. And then what will I do in here? I guess this would just be do you want to do this? That's a terrible name for a function, but we're going to keep it for now. There should be no styles on here. Page down. Because it's just using the button styles. Did I break anything? Oh, I didn't import it. Buttons are global things. So, but should a warning button be global? Yeah, probably. I make certain components available globally because to me that just makes sense. When you're building an app like this, where there's buttons there's going to be a button on every page. There's probably going to be an a form button on every single page. There's no reason, like, I don't see a value of not having these types of components, these low-level things on the page. Like, I'm not going to import like the fucking like modal on every page. That's silly. But buttons, and I think this is fine. So. Move. Button warning. Oh. All for centered. All right, close that out. Fresh, come back here. Holding the load. And we got a blank screen. All right. What didn't I do? Oh, button warning. Button warning. Try that again. There we go. Okay. You sure there, buddy? Okay. And then it's going to probably just do it. I'll have to obviously make it do something, but right now it's not doing anything. But this can be swapped out later for something else. But you just want to have something when you're doing any type of destructive. So now all destructive buttons have like a, you want to really do that thing there? Actually, this button won't even work right now, I'm pretty sure. But because it just does the click, that for the click. So I'll have to pass it along. But all right, I'm done for the day because it is 5:07 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. If you like this content, just hit the like button, give me a thumbs up. I don't know, F you, whatever you want to give me. I don't know how, I'm still getting kind of into this whole thing, so I'm trying to learn a little bit more about all the different places where I'm streaming. I'm streaming mostly right now on Twitch, but also on YouTube. All my content does go to YouTube, so depending on where you're watching this, I'm on my Facebook page too. So for Facebook, it's facebook.com/Studio Sanflone, which is my page. YouTube is the same, Studio Sanflone. And if you're on Twitch, it's Joe Sanflone, which that's what the link I usually kind of put out there. But all the content should be in all those different places. I'll probably make a way of actually, I'll probably do a better job next week of starting to actually advertise this stuff a little bit, so that way all the information is out there a little bit more. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you probably tomorrow.